A very big congratulations, because at this stage you're now writing a research paper or a review paper. So let's say you're using the Word document to write your IEEE paper. So firstly, you need to download the template of the paper. When you go in Google search engine, type IEEE conference paper template. Click manuscript template for conference proceedings. Scroll down. So here we have two documents. We also have a LaTeX template in case you want to use LaTeX template. You can also check the video on how to write an IEEE paper using LaTeX template. I'll leave the link in the description box. Since we want to use Word document, we can select one of these two. Okay, we now check our download from here. We now have our conference paper template, and we can enable editing here. We can save a copy of the Word document. Remember, we need to keep a copy for references because you need to read the instructions that are in this template. You need to edit the title. So you come here and edit the title. So you delete this and put the title of your research paper. This note here says subtitles are not captured in Explore and should not be used. So you can remove this part. So right here, you write your given name first, then your surname. So line 2, you can write your department. Line 3, you write the name of the organization or your affiliation, which is the institution or university where you're coming from. Line 4, it says city and country, and you also write the postcode right here. Line 5 is email address, or you write your ORC ID. Do the same even in the second column and the third column. If you only have 3 authors, then you delete the details for the 4th, 5th, and 6th column. For the abstracts, we are editing everything after an hyphen, and then now you put the content that is in the abstract that you've prepared. Remember, the number of words for the abstract should not be less than 150, so they can vary from 150 words to somewhere 250 words depending on the journal. So an abstract outlines a research paper summary. It should make sense on its own, meaning that it should be self-contained. It should be able to have meaning on its own. So in the abstract, you have to write the reason why you're writing this paper, the problem that you're trying to solve, the methods that you're going to use, the results, and you have to give a detailed explanation on the implication of the results. For the keywords, here you write the keywords of your paper. These are the searchable terms that make the researchers to easily find your paper and to read your paper, and consequently your paper gets cited. We now come to the introduction section. In the introduction section, you are given the background of your topic. You state the problem, the major contribution of your paper. Then as you conclude, you give how the entire paper has been outlined. So you can say the paper is outlined as follows. Section 2 is ABCD, section 3, section 4, and the conclusion. If you have any equations in your research, an IEEE template gives you the guidelines on how you can present your equations. So your equations must be numbered consecutively. Use a long dash rather than hyphen for a minus sign. So these are the instructions that are here on the equations. Make sure you go through these instructions because they will guide you on how you can write your equations neatly. Define all the symbols in your equations. You use that, you open the brackets and you close, and then you write the number of the equation there inside. If it's equation 1, then you write equation 1. And note where you say EQ to represent equation or equation 1. You just reference your equation as it is stated here in brackets and the symbol without putting EQ or equation, except at the beginning of a sentence. So if you're just introducing the sentence, then you can use the word equation. Note that the equation is centered using a center tab stop. So another example on how you can reference your equations here is like, let's say the VSM 0H can be implemented using the following. Then you just put 1 and 8 without saying equation 1 and equation 8. You just put 1 in brackets and 8 in brackets. Then we come to figures. The figures and tables, according to the instructions here in the template, the figures and tables may span across both columns. So you use the abbreviation as FIG1. So the FIG, remember, the F is capital. So you don't write in full, you just write FIG1. Even at the beginning of a sentence, or even if you are referencing it in the middle of a sentence, you reference it as FIG1 with a capital F, just as it is in the caption. Take note that the heading for the tables must be capitalized. So for the tables, you're putting the caption on top, or the heading, you're putting it on top of the table, and it should be capitalized. And then for the figure labels, you need to use 8 times New Roman for the figure labels. So make sure that you're following the font sizes and the font just as it is in the template. So I would advise that you keep a copy and then you edit another copy so that you can still go back and counter check. If you have an acknowledgement section in your research paper or in your review paper, in this section you will want to appreciate those who helped you in some way. So this could be an institution that sponsored you, family or friends or other researchers that could have helped you or contributed to you reaching this far where you have to now write your paper. So this section is optional. You may include it in your paper or you leave it out. So it's up to you. It's not a must. So when you're including figures or tables in your research paper, IEEE conference template suggests that you use a text box to insert graphics. So you make sure that you don't compromise the quality of your graphics. It should be 300 dpi, which is dots per inch. So this can be in tag image file format, which is TIFF, or EPS files with fonts embedded already in the text box. Another point to take note: unless there are 6 authors or more, give authors names. Do not use et al. So where I use ETAL, et al. To say Precious et al., like Precious and Friends. So unless you have 6 authors, that's when you can use that. If you want to reference a paper that has not been published, even if they are submitted for publication, should be cited as unpublished. So you have to make sure that you cite a paper that is not yet published as unpublished. Or if the paper that you want to cite has been accepted for publication, it should be cited as in press. Then for papers published in translated journals, give the English citation first, followed by the original foreign language citation. So all these instructions, you can find them in this template as you are writing. Make sure you go through so that you don't have your paper being rejected just because of those small mistakes. IEEE template contains guidance texts. So here in this red writings, it says IEEE template contains guidance text for composing and formatting conference papers. Ensure that all conference text is removed from the conference paper to avoid the paper being rejected.